All right, man. SunnyV2, y'all already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? The most intense arguments in Joe Rogan history. I'm not going to lie. The most I've seen out of this podcast he got going on, right, is clips on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I've never sat through and watched the full episode of any of his things. You feel me? Maybe this, I mean, granted, it says most intense argument. You feel me? But maybe this will get me into listening to some of his podcasts. You feel me? I don't know. Most intense arguments. Let's see.
With almost 2,000 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience, it's no surprise that there have been a couple of pretty heated arguments. And we're going to kick the video off by looking at one between Joe and a guest,
Candace Owens. Okay.
by the name of Candace Owens, who initiated the conflict after stating in a very
She look like Janet Jackson a little bit. Or am I bugging? Just a little bit. Maybe like let me see. From the eyes up and then the mouth, right? Nah, she kind of looks like her, no cap, a little bit.
very smug way that humans don't need to care for the environment because climate change doesn't exist.
You don't think we have to care about the environment? Like, what do you,
No, not even a little bit. Like,
not even a little bit?
no. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like, I'm not saying like we need to trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
Joe pushed back on this initial statement,
She's not the only one. You know what I'm saying? I've heard a lot of people say like that shit's fake, it's not true, type shit. You feel me?
by arguing that the topic was incredibly complex and that maybe Candace wasn't in a position to make this claim. Things became even worse when Jamie brought up a website to support Joe's side of the argument.
The vast majority, 87% of scientists, said that human activity is driving global warming.
Yeah, I don't believe this like at all. Just so you know.
Which resulted in Candace implying
What? There's literally tests. There's literally tests on this, bro. All right. It's like, all right, let me see. To each their own. 100% to each their own. And I know this is different. You feel me? This is different from what I'm about to say. But a lot of people like to use both in the same sentence, or some people believe one over the other. It's like with God, right? Or the higher power, whoever you believe in. Some people will believe in that, but not in science. Some people will believe in science and in the higher power. Some people will believe in science and no higher power, right? But science, it's like, it's proven. You feel me? Some people can argue there's no higher power because I've never seen one. I've never felt one. Whatever have you, right? I'm not gonna like use both and try to like make this political or anything, but like I was just bringing it up as an example. Like science, they're proving all of this. You feel me? So it's like, again, to each their own. I'm not saying she's right or wrong. That's her opinion. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with it, but it's proven. You know what I'm saying?
Global warming.
Yeah, I don't believe this like at all. Just so you know.
which resulted in Candace implying that they were specifically searching
And real quick, maybe this may or may not mean anything, but bro, I'm in Mass right now. We're in almost February. It's probably only snowed lightly once or twice, 3 times. We're in February and the weather today is like 48, 50 degrees. That's not normal, gang. I don't think that's normal. And I always say this, I feel like the seasons are just gonna shift, bro. Like, we're still dealing with fall, right? To me, we're still dealing with fall. March, April comes, that's when we're gonna deal with winter. It's probably gonna be snowing in freaking June. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, bro. Summer is gonna end up a spring, and then spring is gonna end up a fall, and then, bro, I just feel like the seasons are gonna shift, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's mad different.
for data to
I don't know.
support what Joe already believed.
I guess look up the opposite, right? Instead of looking for what
But
you're
wait a
searching
minute,
for,
but
looking for what
why?
you're not looking
That's
for.
not what I didn't search for it. That's what I found when I
Oh.
searched it.
Joe then doubled down on just how detrimental the climate situation could be.
This could negatively impact all sorts of coastal cities. This could be a gigantic problem. This is not like propaganda that's drummed up by some sort of big business that seeks to make money off of this.
Yet Candace showed no interest in changing her belief on the topic, escalating the conflict even further.
I don't believe it's real. Okay, so I can't
But
sit
why?
here.
But
I
here's the
can't.
question.
I can't.
But why have a belief? Why have a belief as to whether or not global warming is real or not real?
Because
If
I
you
just
don't
I
have a
just find that
background
when
in
things
it, you don't
you're
understand
correct.
the science.
You are correct.
But why?
He say why not have a belief? All right, and this is just me. You guys may take it differently. Y'all let me know. He's saying, why have a belief on why it's not real? Isn't it the same way as him saying it is real and he believes that? You feel me? Right? Am I explaining myself right? You know what I'm saying? Am I asking that right?
Real or not real?
Because
If
I
you
just
don't have a
find that
background
when
in it,
things
If you don't have a background in it and stuff like that.
you don't
You're
understand the
correct.
science.
You are correct.
But why have a belief in it?
right, so it's not a belief. It's not a belief in it. I don't believe in it.
Joe was eventually able to get Candace to admit that she didn't really know what she was talking about.
How about not have a belief until you
So
really have
okay,
looked
so
at the
you
data?
would prefer if my language, as opposed to admitting that I do not know this, I wouldn't die until I've never made a video, I've never made a public statement. You would have preferred if I had just started by saying,
I don't know.
I have no opinion.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You say
But
I
I
don't.
said I didn't know.
No, you say I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it. You're saying really clearly that
Yeah.
you don't think it's real.
However, Eddie Bravo was significantly more stubborn, who found himself in an argument with Joe after refusing to let go of the idea that the Earth was flat.
Show me a
Space
real
satellite.
picture. Show me a real picture.
Listen, NASA
Find
does not have one of those satellites.
Fake.
Why does it look fake
It
as
looks
fuck?
like something you'd see in a movie.
That's because when they do it in a movie, they try to make it look like this, which is what looks real. Why would it be fake?
Propaganda, man.
After Eddie kicked off the argument by claiming that every round picture of the Earth is fake, Joe continued the conversation by requesting to see a legitimate photo of a flat Earth.
Is there a photo of this flat Earth?
No, I don't. Like I just said again.
That's what I
There's
asked.
Is there a photo of
there's
this?
no photo of.
There's no photo of a flat earth, but you don't believe of it being round. So which one is it, gang? You don't believe in both? You probably don't believe you're on Earth right now. You know what I'm saying? Which one is it? Not to say you need to pick one, but like, you know what I'm saying? That's the argument. Flat or round. That's what people go back and forth with all the time. And you're pretty much saying like, you never seen a flat picture. That means you don't believe in the flat, but then you're sitting here looking at the round ones and saying it's fake. You know what I'm saying? Like which one is it?
Of the flat Earth from space. There's no photo of the round Earth from
That's
space.
not true. That's not
That's the
true.
truth. It's all
No,
fake.
why do you say they're fake though?
There's-
What
they
evidence?
look fake. They look
Okay,
CGI.
But you're not an expert in imagery.
After being backed into a corner, Eddie made the argument that the sources Joe was using were being paid for to keep the conspiracy going.
Where did you get this information?
Jamie.
Where'd you get it?
Where'd I get what?
This information. Where is this coming from?
This is coming off the internet.
Exactly.
American
So
Jour- the
you're
American
reading
Journal-
some information. I'm reading some information.
Slow down,
off
slow down,
the internet.
slow
You
down.
didn't go to the
Slow down,
library.
slow
Oh, it's
down.
on Wikipedia.
Just slow down.
Eddie, stop.
Wikipedia. Don't ever go to Wikipedia for information. He got it off the internet. His response was exactly, okay. So when you're doing research on the internet, right? Because not everything is in books, I feel like. All this new information. New information is not in books. And if it's not in books yet. However you want to go about it, right? So when you're doing research, you're essentially saying anything and everything you research is fake.
Stop doing
There's
that.
sources
No?
here. There's a book called the American Journal of Science. I'm sure that a lot of people respect
which is
that.
bought and paid for.
Well, maybe.
Why would anybody be paying money for people to lie about the world spinning?
Which was followed by Eddie stating that there was no evidence to confirm that the Earth was in fact spinning.
Eddie, people have known it's spinning forever. That's how the seasons
Gravity,
work.
baby.
That's how you see the sun. We spin around. That's why it
Okay,
makes
explain this
eclipses.
to me.
That's why we
That's why you
age,
can
too.
track time zones. That's why you can put a piece of stick in the ground.
You're saying all the
it
correct
acts
shit.
as it acts as a sundial.
After over 40 minutes of back and forth between the two, Joe completely lost it.
Eddie.
I used to say the same
Eddie,
stuff.
you're talking about the
I
Earth being
said this-
flat.
I'm
Thousands of
saying the
scientists
same
have
thing.
looked into it. You think they're all wrong? That's so insane.
You haven't looked into it.
I have.
No, you have.
Has he to be saying it's fake or not? Has he?
Oh my God. How could I not have? You don't think I have? Eddie, there's websites dedicated to debunking it. There's so many people working on these things, Eddie. The idea that they're all in on some sort of a giant global lie is insane.
However, while this argument could certainly be dismissed as a bit of banter between two friends, the same can't be said for the argument between Joe and Matt Walsh, who began the heated exchange after claiming that gay marriage shouldn't be allowed, as it threatens the institution of traditional marriage.
But then why are you opposed to two gay people?
It threatens the institution
As it threatens the institution of traditional marriage.
of traditional. Just because it's a thing, ain't shit change about the traditional way. What are they on, bro? What's we gonna hear his points if he has any. You feel me? We gonna see what he's saying. But how you gonna? That's pretty much saying like, oh yeah, gay marriage changes or ruins the traditional marriage route. No, it doesn't. You just added, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I don't know nothing about gay marriage. You feel me? If you go in that route, go at it. You know what I'm saying? I got no problem with gay people. I got no problem with gay marriage. Do what you want. If it makes you happy, fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Before hearing, I just couldn't see or believe anything where it says, oh, gay marriage changes or affects traditional marriage. It affects the institution. It changes the institution. What are you talking about? I just feel like you're literally traditional. You're adding on gay marriage onto that. Get married the same way as a traditional. It's just two of the same sex.
Marriage.
But then why are you opposed to two gay people doing that?
It's not about choice. It's about what this institution, marriage is an institution, and what is it, and what purpose does it serve?
Joe then made the point that a gay marriage doesn't damage a straight marriage in any way.
I don't think gay people
doesn't.
and gay people getting married in any way, shape, or form changes a bond that you have with your wife.
To which Matt responded with the following point.
If marriage is not what I'm saying it is, why do we even need it? A thing that actually exists, which are man, woman couples creating babies.
But
I don't think it's needed because you can make a family without being married. I don't necessarily think you need it. You know what I'm saying?
after Matt stated that the point of a marriage was for a man and a woman to make babies, Joe questioned the following.
If marriage is only for procreation and to bond a family together, what about people that are deeply in love that never want to have children?
I don't think it's not only procreation.
Right, but if people want to be married and don't want to ever have children, are you opposed to them being married?
I think this would be a couple that is rejecting one of the fundamental aspects of marriage. They should be open to life. I would hope that in the future they would be.
It seems
Not everybody wants kids, though, especially bringing them into a world that we're living in now. Nobody wants to bring, people are doing it. You feel me? But, like, there's a lot of people who don't want to bring a child into this world, knowing what we're going through and what they're seeing and shit. They don't want to put a child through that. They don't want to bring a child into this world where it's like, God forbid, they're growing up in a single parent home, no parent, in a foster care, adoption, all of that, bro. Like, not everybody wants kids.
seemed as though Joe and Matt could have argued back and forth for hours on end. But what happens when Joe invites one of his haters onto the podcast? This is what happened with Brian Dunning, who had written an article claiming that Joe was one of 10 celebrities who promote harmful pseudoscience, in which he'd write, "Comedian Joe Rogan does what he can to promote virtually any conspiracy theory that he stumbles onto, apparently accepting them all uncritically with a wholesome embrace. He believes the Apollo astronauts did not land on the moon. He believes the US government was behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks. He believes the Oliver Stone version of the Kennedy assassination. He believes that aliens crashed at Roswell in 1947 and the government is covering it up. Joe, if you're gonna put so much effort into promoting conspiracy theories and eroding what little rationality the public has left, at least have the courage to come forward with a cogent argument and well-sourced evidence instead of the lameness of I'm just the guy asking questions."
Okay. I've heard a lot of people agree and disagree on the astronaut landing on the moon. Ain't gonna lie, never heard of the US government being behind the 9/11 thing at all. Never heard of that. Oliver Stone version, I don't even know that. Aliens crashed at Roswell. Okay. And listen, everything I say in this is based off what I already know.
Take the responsibility. Joe would take this responsibility by inviting Dunning onto the podcast, which resulted in a 3-hour back and forth arguing about everything, beginning with conspiracy theories.
Well, it's just factually inaccurate on so many different levels. I don't understand why you wrote it like that. Like, there's things that you said that I believe that I don't, that I've never said that I do.
Before eventually concluding with diet and alcohol.
It's not correct. That's not the way the body works. That's not the way the digestion system works. When you say that there's a supplement that can prevent you from getting drunk, you're I'm sorry, you are against all reasonably established science, and you're trying to make a buck off of people potentially getting killed. And I had a huge problem with that to the point that I had to turn the show off.
However, if we're on the topic of diet and alcohol, then we have to look at the Joe Rogan experience.
Something preventing you from getting drunk. I don't believe that, because if you drink a lot, you're gonna get drunk. You're at least gonna feel tipsy, at least. You know what I'm saying, if you're doing it often or drinking a lot, there's something to prevent you from being drunk. How is that even possible?
Experience number 1267, which became one of Joe's most heated episodes after two opposing diet specialists began to argue about nutrition.
To this
Oh, wait, can
energy.
I
No,
comment on
Gary,
that
you talked
study?
for a long time, and I'm going to talk for as long as I want now.
Throughout the whole episode, the two guests were continually mocking each other in a very subtle way.
How does the
Yep.
brain regulate that?
I didn't say it regulated
Well,
that.
hold on,
Does it
Gary, hold on.
That's
So,
fascinating.
but
How does the
it's
brain
muscle.
do that?
Which accompanied other segments where the guests made it very obvious that they hated each other.
Data are very clear on that, Gary. So,
No.
yes, they are. Look, we have data.
We can't say things like that, Stefan, because we're going to
All right,
disagree on
well,
what the data say.
let's move
okay?
on. You think they ate mostly fish. That's incorrect, okay, according to the
didn't
data. I remember you saying that in your book, something to that effect.
Stefan, read what you've got in my book. Read what
Okay,
I say.
anyway,
just read what I say.
let's go on.
We don't
Let's
have
go
to argue
on.
about it. Read what I
Nope,
say.
I'm going to move on here.
The adversity between the two guests became so great that Joe had to intervene on more than one occasion.
Gary, I really continue to get the feeling that you do not understand human energetics, because that's not how it works.
Well, no,
Now,
I'm just saying 10 calories stored in the fat tissue. That's
10
just
calories.
mathematics.
10 calories.
I didn't say anything about how
Gary,
much you have to eat.
I'm not done.
Okay, no, but you're insulting me,
Gary.
Stefan. You got to stop doing that, dude.
Gary.
You keep acting like you think I'm an idiot.
All right, are you done now? Are you done?
Can we be clear that we're talking about?
Are you done now?
Can I just finish this?
No, you
'Cause
can't
you
until
can't
I am
attack me
done.
without. No,
Gary,
you can't.
you
do
have
that.
time to respond.
You can respond, write down notes on what you want to respond to, and after he's done, you can talk
Yeah,
about
but we're
it.
going to get
Now,
into a
look,
long
study-
discourse on
Well, listen-
something that's not the point.
Well, let's
No,
find out if it is the point. We
yeah,
don't know what
it
he's
is
going
the
to say.
point. Thank you. Okay.
But despite this, the two diet experts failed to agree on almost anything.
What do you
It's-
disagree with?
Well, virtually everything.
As we've seen so far, Joe Rogan is pretty good at keeping his cool whenever things get spicy. However, in a recent episode with Dave Portnoy, Joe struggled to keep his cool after Dave stated that Tommy Fury wasn't a real boxer.
I saw Tommy Fury box. He is not a boxer.
Well, he's definitely a boxer.
Well, he puts on gloves.
He's definitely a boxer.
Dave went on to make the point that Tommy was only famous due to his brother's name.
We would not know who Tommy Fury was if his last name wasn't Fury.
Probably we wouldn't know as much about him.
I don't.
But he's still a good-looking guy. He's built great. He looks
Well,
like
those are-
he
yeah.
looks the part.
Looks the part.
And while the conversation was somewhat amicable in the beginning, the tension escalated after Jamie pulled up a video of Tommy Fury's boxing.
Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer. The guy's
Oh.
fighting looks good. Dude, you're crazy if you don't think Tommy
No,
Fury's a
I don't
boxer.
think-
Look at that uppercut. Watch this.
Find
Look,
the
just
Tommy
look at
Fury.
this.
Find the
Dude.
Tommy Fury fight. Can you
You're
find?
That's a boxer right there, bro. Let's keep it 100. He looks good. He looks good throwing hands.
Uppercut. Watch this.
Find the
Look, just
Tommy
look at
Fury.
this.
Find the
Dude.
Tommy Fury fight. Can you
You're
find me the
just
record of
watch
Volkanovski?
this. Stop. Watch this. Watch this. Look at this. You're out of your mind if you
No.
don't. Look at this.
What
Look
is
at that
You
right
think
hand.
that was in slow motion.
No,
I
it's
think.
not in slow
I
motion.
think you slowed that down.
No, he is 100% a legitimate professional boxer. If you don't think so, you're just being a hater.
The argument between Joe and Dave felt like it was coming from a fun perspective.
Bruh.
However, Joe Rogan's argument with Adam Conover was significantly less friendly, which began when Adam stated that he saw nothing wrong with transgender athletes.
Sports with trans athletes who are competing with with their gender, right? That is a sporting world that I'm more interested in.
Joe responded to Adam's position by making the point that it's unfair for a biological man to compete against women.
If you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides that they're going to be a woman, and this has happened.
It has happened. I've seen like 3 different occasions where this happens. It does seem unfair. You feel me? A person that was once a man competing in a women's competition because he's a woman now. Or she's a woman now, you know what I'm saying? However you put it. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I find it unfair. I'm not saying it's wrong or not to stop it, but like I find it unfair. No cap.
and literally transitioned a few months ago and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. That's not competing on a level playing field. It's not fair. It's as much cheating as taking steroids when the other person doesn't.
I disagree, and
what do you disagree about?
I've already, well, I don't think that there is such a thing as a perfectly level playing field. I think we decide what kind of playing field we want to have.
Sure, but we do make the distinction where we don't allow men to compete in women's division.
Yeah, and he's saying, hold on.
There is such a thing as a
There's no such thing as a perfectly level playing field. No, because everybody's different. But they're not gonna put a up and coming boxer against fucking Conor McGregor or Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do that, because that's unfair too.
Field. I think we decide what kind of playing field we want to have.
Sure, but we do make the distinction where we don't allow men to compete in women's divisions.
And I think that distinction may be breaking down a bit, right? And I think it may be time to break down that distinction a little bit.
So you think that males should be able to compete in the women's division of weightlifting?
No, I don't necessarily.
But they can if they transition.
Well, first of all, the
debate became even more heated after the two got onto the topic of transgender children.
If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body.
Which then turned into a weird debate about the existence of alpha males.
It's not scientific, but it is true that women are hardwired to be attracted to confident, athletic men.
I don't know if I agree with that. But
really?
Yeah.
But if you ask girls, like, what are you into? And you say, are you into tall, muscular, confident men who are also nice to you? Jesus Christ, it's going to be off the charts. It's going to be like most of them.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure that's the case.
Really?
However, at least Joe was sober for the Adam Conover debate, as alcohol was one of the main drivers for Joe's heated 2017 argument with Steven Crowder.
Going back to the whole child thing that Joe was talking about, I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that. I feel like, I don't know, bro. At least when they hit high school, the age 14, 15, 16, probably 16. When they hit 16, I feel like do whatever you want. You feel me? Or at least wait until your body's done developing, which I think is like 21 to 25, 27. I'm not sure, bro. I know it's a long time, but like choosing to do that to your child, that's fucked, bro. That's so fucked.
What are you into? And you say,
all right, let's go.
As alcohol was one of the main drivers for Joe's heated 2017 argument with Steven Crowder, which began with Steven stating that the legalization of weed has led to an increase in motor vehicle accidents.
Traffic fatalities regarding marijuana have skyrocketed.
Google that, because that's nonsense.
No,
you
we
know,
wrote about it
drunk driving arrests have dropped. What do you mean first of all,
we wrote about what the sources there, the original studies.
Steven then tried to convince Joe that he didn't really care about the use of weed.
I don't care about it.
Yeah, you do.
I don't care.
You're the guy that thinks people should be able to do whatever. You're a free market guy,
that's
right?
what I just said.
So if you're a free market guy, why wouldn't you be in support of something, whether it's the most beneficial or equally beneficial? But you're not necessarily, because you're denying.
But because right now of the chemical,
which is followed by Joe mocking Steven for his attitude.
Things that are good and don't shore, man. Just like you don't shore turmeric, you don't shore ginger, you don't shore a reduced sugar diet. All those things that reduce inflammation are good for you.
I don't buy that smoking marijuana would be as beneficial as a reduced sugar diet.
After bringing up a study to support Joe's point, the following exchange ensued.
Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are at near historic lows.
Near historic lows. I feel like it depends on the person, bro, and how much you take in. Because I know if it was me, I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive, bro. I'd be tweaking. I just feel like it depends on the person and how it's affecting them. You know what I'm saying?
You have him bringing up the source that you want to find.
Washington
Bring
Post.
up the study right there. Yeah, Washington Post. Bring up the study that we wrote. We wrote about it on our website.
Look, I don't care about your website. Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado
Since you called me
And after Joe sobered up the following day, he issued an apology for the way he acted during one of the most heated arguments in Joe Rogan history.
Oh man, let me know what you guys think. You feel me? Yeah, y'all heard what I had to say. going back to, you know, pretty much this part right here. The whole transgender and men competing in a woman's in women's competition, or flip it, you feel me? A woman in a man's. It's just unfair, bro. Again, do what you want. That got nothing to do with me, but like it's just unfair, bro. You know what I'm saying? Cause like you're a man your whole life, right? And then you decide to, you know, transition into a woman. But now you're competing in a woman's sport. You feel me? I feel like there's really no other way to I think there's really no other way to go around it to where like it's fair. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it ever being fair. I forgot where I saw it, but I saw it with I think it was a guy. He was competing in the same sport that he went to when he transitioned. He was competing with the women. It's the same sport. I guess he was losing all the time or wasn't doing as great, but then when he transitioned and played for the women's same sport, but a women's competition, he won, I think, the first time he got into it. And it's not fair, bro. You feel me? To each their own. Do what you do. That got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? If you happy, you happy. Simple. Sunny never fails to deliver great content. This channel, no doubt, is one of the best where it comes to commentaries. Yes, sir. Daddy Bravo Flat Earth episode is one I still go back to for melting my brain. I love it. So enjoyably frustrating. Imagine every argument combined in one supercut. That shit would be fire. Love your content, man. Keep it up. The movies try to make it look like this because it's real. Shit had me laughing hard as fuck. Bruh, no matter how smart you are, you can't convince a stupid person that they are stupid. Damn. Hey, man. I'll let me know what you guys thought. You feel me? That's my reaction. If y'all enjoyed, give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't. And I'm out.